Welcome friends, in this video let's discuss about 13th Conference of Parties to United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change that happened on Bali, Indonesia in 2007. So in Bali, Indonesia, 13th Conference of Parties to UNFCCC was organized, and it also organized third meeting of parties to Kyoto Protocol. So the member countries of Kyoto Protocol meet separately and discuss the issues related to Kyoto Protocol in meeting of parties. It was third such meeting of parties for the Kyoto Protocol, and this Bali conference was very important because of certain events. For example, here the Kyoto Protocol came into force in 2005, and first commitment period started from 2008 to 12. Okay, so after the first commitment period, the mechanism was unclear. So countries were not in consensus what would happen after 2012 first commitment period. So there must be certain agreement between the countries in order to undertake another commitment period after 2012. So in that background, Bali conference was made. So the main objective of the Bali action plan was to push the world towards taking action that reduce greenhouse gas which causes the climate change. And the important thing is that to discuss what happens after 2012. That means after the first commitment period of Kyoto Protocol from 2008 to 2012. And the developed countries also wants the various certain developing countries like India, China, Brazil and South Africa to take some amount of commitment in reducing greenhouse gas emissions. So because under Kyoto Protocol these countries were outside the legally binding commitment. So the developed countries wants these developing countries to undertake some kind of commitment to reduce greenhouse gas emissions, because China was one of the largest greenhouse gas emitter at par with the developed countries. So those countries wanted such kind of commitment from developing countries, and the new set of rules to be decided for the post 2012 roadmap. So these are all the objectives of the Bali action plan that held at 2007. And the Bali Road Map was adopted in Bali conference. This includes 2-year process from 2007 to 2009, okay, to finalize a binding agreement in 2009 that must be taken after 2012, after the completion of first commitment period. So by 2009, within 2 years, a process to finalize the binding agreement must be in place, okay. So this is called Bali Roadmap. The Bali Roadmap includes the Bali action plan, what I discussed here, okay, and the ad hoc working group on further commitment for Annex 1 parties under Kyoto Protocol and their 2009 deadline, okay. So the further commitment by the Annex 1 countries after 2012, and the launch of Adaptation Fund. So this is a financial resource to fund the adaptation projects in the developing countries and least developed countries to adapt to climate change. And the decisions on transfer of technology. We all know that the developing countries and least developed countries has poor research and development capabilities, and all the technology and resources are concentrated in developed countries. So there must be a transfer of technology to developing countries in order to undertake mitigation and adaptation strategies for global warming. So this decision was to be made. So this Bali roadmap includes that also. And reducing emission from deforestation. So these decisions are included in the Bali roadmap, which must be agreed by the countries by 2009 in Copenhagen, that is 15th Conference of Parties. And the Bali action plan, okay, the Bali action plan, in that the Conference of Parties decided to launch a comprehensive process to enable the implementation of convention through long-term cooperative action. That means up to and beyond 2012, by addressing various building blocks and pillars. So a shared vision for long-term cooperative action must be there between both developed and developing countries, including a long-term goal for emission reduction. And enhanced national international action on mitigation of climate change must be present, and enhanced action on adaptation to global warming. Here mitigation is direct reduction of greenhouse gases, okay. This is called greenhouse gas mitigation. Here adaptation does not involve directly in reducing the greenhouse gases. Adaptation is only a strategies to adapt to adjust to the global warming. So it is post result events. So mitigation is directly reducing, it is a preventive aspect, it is curative aspect. Okay, mitigation and adaptation. And Bali action plan also include enhanced action on technology development and transfer to support action on mitigation and development. So technology development are included, and enhanced action on provision of financial resources. So developing countries has least financial resources to adjust and reduce the greenhouse gas emissions. So there must be enhanced action on provision of financial resources and investment to support action on mitigation and adaptation and technology cooperation. So these events are discussed in the Bali action plan. In the area of mitigation, okay, mitigation, enhanced action on mitigation of climate change includes every country must have nationally appropriate mitigation commitments. Okay, every developed countries, for all the developed countries, those countries must set the nationally appropriate mitigation commitment. Commitment is a legally binding commitment here, okay, for developed countries. And for developing countries, nationally appropriate mitigation actions, okay, actions must be put in place by the developing country. These are voluntary actions. For example, India adopted National Action Plan on Climate Change to mitigate the greenhouse gas emissions. So this is the thing. The countries must adopt the appropriate action plans which are suited to their countries. And cooperative sectoral approaches and sector-specific actions must be taken. So this is in the area of mitigation. And in the area of forest, national pledge, policy approaches, and positive incentives on the issues related to reducing emissions from deforestation and forest degradation in developing countries. So this red means reducing the emission by various events like deforestation and forest degradation. So the countries must be incentivized to reduce the emission by providing various incentives. Okay, so this is agreed under the Bali action plan. And enhancement of forest carbon stocks in developing countries. So this paragraph is referred to as red plus. Okay, this is in addition to red. So forest carbon stocks means by growing more and more trees, we can trap the atmospheric carbon dioxide into the woods of those trees. So this is the forest carbon stock sink. Okay, next is adaptation. Nations opt for enhanced cooperation to support urgent implementation of measures to protect poorer countries against climate change, including national action plan for actions. Okay, so this is about Bali action plan. So next major event is Copenhagen. Okay, the 15th conference of parties, where the countries must agree certain consensus to be reached by 2012 for the second commitment period of Kyoto Protocol. So let's look at in our next video about that. Please share this video on Facebook. Thanks for watching.